Evening, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. How's it going? How's it going? Ooh, who's ready for the United States Grand Prix? So, I am not as prepared as I would like to be, as I had a bit of a late dinner. So let's get what we need up. Have a look at the strategies for today. Lovely jubbly. Timing is up and running. We'll do that in 2 seconds. Going to be a 2-stop race today by the sounds of it. Where's my track map? Where's my track map? Here we go, guys. Here we go. Right. Switch scene. Let's go. Here we go. Oh, no. Continue to live timing. There we go. That's a bit too big. I'll tell you how much this... actually, I didn't pay for this. I'll tell you in a second where I got it from. I think I've explained where I got this from before, but I will tell you guys nonetheless. There we go. There we go. Yes, I am full-on Mercedes fanboy today. Hoping for a good performance from them, hopefully Hamilton. But of course, I'll be happy with a win. Anyone other than obviously the usual suspect. But yeah, welcome everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope your Sunday's been treating you well and you had a good afternoon. So yeah, I got this Mercedes top from I got it for free because I qualified for a sim racing event that was Mercedes sponsored. And it was, I went to Battersea Power Station, one of their sponsors, IWC Watches, their watch sponsor, was hosting an event on iRacing. I qualified for it, was one of the fastest in the UK. And then our team won. I was a bit slow on the evening. And I went to the Mercedes factory for a tour, which was brilliant. And this was what we got for the night. So, did I say what Hamilton more than George? Have you seen the image? Yes. I like George, but I like Hamilton more. How long have you been following my channel for, Martin? So, what I wanted to do is I wanted, as always, to show you guys the strategies for today because it's quite intriguing. It is quite intriguing. Open link in new tab. There we go. And the tyre usage because it could come into effect today. Strategy. Is this the same I got the helmet from? Yes, I also got the helmet from the same event. So, yeah, got the top and the helmet. So it was a good event. Yeah, it was good fun. There was free champagne on offer as well. So, good afternoon, Rotty. Good to see you and welcome everyone who's just tuning in. Is George considered posh by British standards? I wouldn't say posh. No, he's well spoken. He's definitely well spoken. He's not posh, though. I would say so. There's definitely posher people out there. Do I have any signed merchandise? No, unfortunately, I do not. I don't have any signed merchandise of anything in regards to F1. Right, so I want to show you guys this because this is the strategy for today. A little bit... Let me move that out of the way. And I am just going to minimize the chat for a minute. So, that's not actually the strategy for today. So, strategy for today is a minimum 2-stopper, guys. So, we are going to get a minimum 2-stop race. No one is going to be able to take it. No one's going to be able to take it 1 stop. That's for sure. I mean, I've always been proven wrong, but I don't think so. So, they're predicting pretty much it's either a medium hard or a medium hard medium. You can see there. I think a few people are going to throw in the soft tyre today. We'll have a look at who's actually got any fresh soft tyres. Of course, I don't know if any of them. I don't know if any of them have got a kind of relatively low usage of a soft tyre to use. That would be the problem. You can see the one stopper there, but I don't see that being feasible. And then this is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets interesting, guys. So the McLarens have 2 brand new sets of hard tyres to use compared to that of Verstappen, Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, Russell and Hamilton. If the hard tyre is the better race tyre, then the McLarens, I think, are in pole position for a win today, particularly Lando Norris, depending on how his start is. So that is going to be intriguing, guys. That is going to be intriguing. You sure George will try the one stop? He always likes to try the alternative strategy, doesn't he? Yeah, not sure. I think they're on for a good, decent haul of points today, so it'd be interesting to see if he does try the one stop, but I don't know. You kill your tyres too much. How's my day been so far? Well, West Ham ruined it. It was going fine until West Ham lost 4-1. So, yeah, until that, it was absolutely fine. From Sim Racing, what turns hurt the tyres at Kota, or is it track abrasive overall? So, we'll have a look. So, that is the strategies pretty much for today, guys. So, we're going to see a 2-stopper, that's for sure. I mean, someone will probably try and do the 1-stopper, but I just don't think it's going to be feasible today. I really don't. So, what corners, guys, take the most out of the tyres? Well, the unique thing about Kota is that it takes a lot out of the tyres in a lot of different areas. So, predominantly it's more a front limited circuit, but there's also corners here. Oh, that was my iRacing. Hang on, let me get rid of that. There's also corners here. There's also corners here which will be limiting the rears as well. So, predominantly you have got the first corner, which is more on the front side of things. Then you've got the whole first sector is pretty much the fronts. Really hurts them. And then you get to turn 11, which is more rear limited, same as 12, same as 13. So then you get kind of to the middle sector, which is more rear limited. And then you get to the last sector, which is definitely more front limited. This is where you saw Hamilton and a few of the guys struggle when it came to the last corner in particular, with a bit of understeer and losing a bit of time, because this particular corner here, the long right-hander, technically 3 corners in one, is very, very hard on the front left tyre. So yeah, by the time you get to turn 20, the fronts just kind of give out a little bit, and that's why we see a bit of understeer from the guys going through the last corner. But yeah, it's a unique circuit. Apparently they built kind of the first sector, so kind of turns 3, 4, 5 and 6 are kind of based on Magnus and Beckett's from Silverstone. Apparently the last sector's based on the stadium section kind of at Hockenheimring, so they've kind of taken inspiration from other circuits across the world. George start on hards. George Gamble, I call him. Maybe. I suspect everyone's going to start on the medium tyre. I don't think anyone's going to start on the hards. I think those guys, particularly at the front, are going to be very cautious of just wanting to get a good start and not lose positions at the start. They're all going to want to gain, particularly at this circuit, the dirty areas we saw in the sprint race yesterday. If you're out front, you're definitely like, what's the right word? Oh my God. Lance Stroll was already being investigated by the stewards, guys, and the race hasn't even started. So, if you didn't know, the 2 Haases and the 2 Aston Martins have made a considerable amount of changes on their car, predominantly to do with the setup. So they've broken park firmware, which means they have to start from the pit lane. It seems like that Lance Stroll, when he's sighting lap round to the grid or round to the pit lane, has just not entered the pit lane correctly. Honestly, like, can it get any worse for him at the moment? Unless he crashes out. But yeah, so the dirty air is going to be a big factor here for tyre life. I mean, that's why I'm intrigued to see if Verstappen gets caught up in a bit of traffic. How easily is he going to be able to pass cars? We know he's got an advantage, but how much of an advantage does he have in dirty air? Is he going to have the same amount of traction? Are his tyres still going to last as long as they did in clear air? I think Leclerc's going to struggle once again. His tyres fell off quite considerably yesterday. Norris and Hamilton, I think Norris is probably, other than Max, I'd say Norris is probably favourite to win this. As much as I want Hamilton to win it, I think Norris, with that extra set of hard tyres, just got a sneaky feeling that is the better race tyre. And if it is, then Norris is favourite to win this race. So, Dan, new to my channel, great job. My friend from Dan in Grand Rapids. Oh, thanks, Dan. Welcome, buddy. Yes, we've been doing these for quite some time. I unfortunately received some strikes earlier on in the year, which stopped me from doing these. But yeah, no, really enjoyed doing it, and glad. Welcome to the channel, buddy. Just a thing to make my life easier. Most people like different drivers. Of course, everyone does. Everyone does. So we don't have long until the race gets underway. Martin Brundle is doing his grid walk as we speak. Everyone seems to be pretty polite at the moment. Lots of Brits on the grid, it seems. Rory McIlroy, Anthony Joshua. But we have just over 15 minutes until the race starts. So let's run a poll. Let's see who you think is going to win this race. I'm going to go, I can only do 4 drivers, and I'm going to do pretty much these 4 drivers. Who will win the US GP? Leclerc. Is it going to be Leclerc? Is it going to be Norris? Is it going to be Hamilton? Or is it going to be Max from 6th place? What I am hoping is that today those guys make it hard for Max and that they don't actually let him get by easy. I'm sure they won't, but I think they have an opportunity to try and hold Max up a lot today. So we'll see. How many runs did I end up going through yesterday? Oh, that was the last run I had yesterday, Jordan. So, yeah, it was bedtime after that. Max is going to win. Well, yeah, you still expect him to be favourite even from 6th place, don't you? That's how quick that car is. The thing is with the Red Bull is that it treats its tyres so well, so it's just able to maintain its pace for longer than the other teams. We saw that yesterday. I still think Hamilton suffered in the dirty air. It would have been interesting to see Hamilton out front and Max having to deal with the dirty air, which he probably has to do today. I think that's definitely taken a lot out of Hamilton's tyres when he was trying to chase Max down for like the first, 5-6 laps. And then in the end, he's already got the very degraded tyres and having to fight that or struggle with that. But Leclerc was the interesting one. Clearly, Ferrari has still got issues with tyre deg. He was in pretty much clean air most of the time and was just like dropping off. Big time. So Red Bull does great in DRS zones too. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? The DRS advantage. I mean, I know Perez is obviously not as quick as Max. We know that quite evidently. But it was interesting to see that Perez, when he was quicker, because he caught Norris at a rate of knots yesterday in clean air. But then as soon as he got up behind Norris, just struggled. And even with the DRS, didn't make up that much of an advantage in that Red Bull. So in a straight line, you'd still expect Perez to be able to make short work of Norris. But Max sounds very positive on the grid, chatting to Martin Brundle right now. Let's see what he's got to say. Just trying to stay out of trouble. He seems pretty confident, which is not great for us neutrals. 0% Leclerc wins this. His long run pace is just not there. Yeah, the tyres are going to fall off pretty quickly for him. Maybe a few safety cars is the only opportunity for him. Yeah, Verstappen starts 6th compared to winning that sprint race yesterday and qualifying on pole. Yes, James, I am on the Mac panel this evening. I'm on the Mac podcast. Yeah, looking forward to that. I haven't been on for a while, so Really disappointed in the Haas ball. I know. Their upgrades haven't worked for him. Which is rich, really, because they keep saying, oh, no, don't bring in an 11th team. It will dilute the competition. We need quality over quantity. And it's like, well, you're clearly not bringing quality, are you? So, start time, ES. It is, let's have a look now. It is on the hour. So wherever you are in the world, it is just under 15 minutes until the race starts. But which lap do you think Verstappen will take the lead? You think 12? I'm hoping he doesn't take the lead at all. What will be intriguing is what... So as I said, the Red Bull is supreme on tyre deck. So Max can almost start on the hard compound tyre if he wants to, compared to those in front who are on the medium tyre. And just keep it clean. Just keep it clean and probably do the overcut. That's what I wouldn't be surprised to see if Max starts on the hards compared to those on the mediums in front, and commit to the overcut and probably make up quite a considerable amount of time because he's just so good on tyre deck. So we'll see. You're also watching Barcelona versus Atletico Bilbao. Sad considering Haas started off amazing as a new team. Yeah, I generally think, I don't think Gunther Steiner is a good team principal. Some people call that controversial, but I don't think he is. I think he's... like, he gets all the plaudits for being a character in like Drive to Survive and that, but his man management of Mick Schumacher was horrendous. His man management of Grosjean and Magnussen was horrendous, and probably should have been a bit more ruthless and got rid of those two, at least one of them, a year earlier than when he kept them on for. He's brought Magnussen back, which maybe was the right decision considering Mazepin, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't see that team kind of moving forward in the right direction. I think they'll be at the back of the pack for some years to come, to be honest. Hey, Timo, good to see you. Yeah, it's all good, mate. As I said, until West Ham lost 4-1 this afternoon, my day was going really well. So hopefully this race can end the day on a high for us. It's supreme on tyre deck when in clean air. True, Busy. True. That's what I'm intrigued to see, is how Max deals with dirty air. I know comparing Max and Verstappen is like comparing apples and pears, or apples and oranges, as they say. But it was intriguing to see that Perez couldn't get past Norris yesterday when he caught up to the back of him. And when he was in clean air, he caught him pretty quickly. But getting past him, even with DRS, it does seem like that they've lost that advantage, as much of an advantage with that DRS effectiveness as it was earlier on in the season. The teams have definitely caught up. They definitely have. But the Red Bull is still the quickest car. But we'll see. Maybe George will have a bit of a tangle with Max and make things interesting for us. Hey, Veronica, good to see you. Irons go hammering down. Yes, unfortunately, Sam. Unfortunately. Magnussen was Mazepin was a false decision somewhat, so can't even give him credit for that. Yeah. Well, I mean, in the day, Magnussen got let go primarily because they weren't satisfied with his performances. The thing is, he's shown streakiness. I feel like he did a job. Was it last year he came in? Was it the year before? Can't remember. But he did a job when he came in to replace Mazepin. And he's been very streaky this year. For Hulkenberg's definitely outperformed him in qualifying. When it comes to the race, like, he drops further back. But then that might be due to, obviously, the car being set up for qualifying rather than the race. But overall, they've just not been up to par this year, have they? Perfect way to end the shift. Yeah, well, not long to go. So welcome, everyone. We're over 100 viewers right now as we are heading up to, very shortly, the start of the US Grand Prix. Just under 10 minutes now until it begins. Remember to hit your like and subscribe button if you haven't already. If we could get the stream to 100 likes, as always, it helps build this great community that we have here. And really appreciate it. It also shows how much of you are liking the stream as well. But yes, not long to go. And answer in the poll as well. Who do you think is going to win today? Is it going to be Leclerc on pole position, Norris, Hamilton, or Verstappen? I can only fit 4 names in there. Maybe it will be Sainz or Russell. Who knows? But yeah, I think we're in for a much more intriguing race than the sprint race that we saw yesterday. My opinion on Sargent, because I feel he's disappointed and the Americans have little to nothing to cheer for. And Albon is just showing that the Williams can do well. I have to agree. Yeah, I think Sargent... yeah. I think Sargent is the... Yes, we're streaming on Twitch as well. Much thank you. Thank you for the follow, buddy. I think... Yeah, I think... they're already looking for another driver. I don't know who that driver will be, but I think, yeah, it's a done deal for him, to be honest. They've given him the benefit of the doubt for the first half of the season, tried to coach him, but then he just keeps on crashing, and he doesn't even look like out-qualifying or beating Albon in a race, does he? You'd at least like to see flashes from a rookie, like we have seen with Piastri and other rookies in the past. But Sargent just really hasn't shown anything for me to warrant. Like, I feel like the experiment has failed for them. They've got Albon, who clearly knows how to set up the car, help with the development of the car, and then when it comes to like Sargent, he's just causing them more bother than not. The team would be much better off with a much wiser driver in there who knows how to set up the car, knows how to give proper feedback, and at least keep the car out the wall, so that they can make improvements. At the moment, he's been very, very costly for them. He's the most costly driver this year in regards to damages. So that's not good for a team like Williams, who are looking to try and maximise every bit of budget that they've got in regards to the cost cap and move further up the grid. So yeah, if I was James Vowles, team principal Williams, I'd be looking at someone a bit more experienced to come into that team for many reasons. Yeah, I agree, Colton. I agree. I mean, he's at the back of the grid this week. Yesterday in the sprint race, he couldn't make his way forward. Albon at least made a good showing of it. Yeah. First person you compare to is your teammate, and yes, Albon is more experienced. However, like as I said, he hasn't even shown really any flashes, has he, compared to other rookies in the past. So, yeah. A bit awkward to have Grid Girls on the same weekend where we've got F1 Academy. Right, so we've got just under 7 minutes, so about 6 minutes until the race starts, guys. Within a couple of minutes, we will get the tyre blankets come off. I believe it's around 5 minutes, a couple of minutes before the race, before the formation lap starts. We will get a update on the tyre blanket, on the tyres. So I'm intrigued to see what everyone's going to decide to start on. Supporting Haas is tough as an American, and supporting Logan as a driver has been rough as well. I bet, Logan. Yeah, your namesake isn't done very well for the Logan name, is he? Unfortunately. Notice how 3 teams this year have struggles with drivers. Red Bull, Perez, Aston Martin with Stroll, and Williams with Sargent. Yes. Well, one of those teams is they're a bit stuck, aren't they? One of those teams is particularly stuck because one of those drivers isn't going anywhere unless he actually decides to say, Daddy, I don't want to race cars anymore. Or at least I don't want to race F1 cars anymore. So until that day happens, that team, Stroll, is not going to go anywhere, is he? But I'd love to see Williams back up. They're one of the historic race teams. And look, it's been well documented that James Vowles came from Mercedes and went to Williams and was like, whoa, you are so far behind in regards to the technology that you're using to develop parts. Just like their infrastructure in general is so many years behind. He is aware that this is very much a long-term project, and he's implemented things from his experience from Mercedes already in regards to processes and procedures that have helped them at some circuits. But Williams is definitely a team that will progress probably over the next 5 years or so. I think they did it get thrown out by the FIA? I think they appealed or they approached the FIA to say, can we get dispensation from the cost cap to upgrade our infrastructure because it was so far behind. And I can't remember if that got turned down or if it got accepted. That's how far back they are or behind the other teams. So Can't remember that. Maybe one of you can let me know. But yeah, Williams will be back up there, I'm sure, as long as they are, as long as they still keep getting the investment from the owners. But talks on YouTube how Stroll should go compete in a new Aston MP1 team. Well, it seems like it's gearing up for that. It very much does so. It's weird to see Alonso only just ahead of Stroll this weekend. As we said yesterday, if you want to go conspiracy theory time, I did see a conspiracy theory that to make Lance Stroll look better at the end of this season, because of the flack he's been getting, rightly so, for his mistakes and obviously losing his cool with his personal trainer and that, have they just tampered with Alonso's performance of his car to just bring that gap a bit closer towards the end of the season? So to give Stroll a bit of confidence and to relieve some pressure on him at the end of the season. I mean, stranger things have happened in F1. So when Max passes Hamilton, how many times will Hamilton mention on the radio how many times Max exceeds track limits? Probably a lot. Said probably a lot. The drivers will be doing it. Actually, funnily enough, I need to get that up. I need to get the track limits tracker up, because I've got a feeling we're going to see a few penalties here today. There was quite a few picked up yesterday in the sprint race, which is only a fraction of the race distance. So here we go. Tyre blankets are off as we did that. And, well, everyone started on the medium tyre except for Hülkenberg and Stroll at the back of the grid. Well, not even at the back of the grid, in the pit lane. So I thought Max might roll the dice a little bit and go with the hard compound tyre. So everyone wanting the most grippiest tyre. Obviously, the soft isn't a viable option really in this race, maybe unless there's a safety car and there's like a dash at the end. But the medium tyre is most definitely the grippiest race tyre today, and everyone wanted to make sure that they maximise that start up to T1. So intriguing, guys, intriguing. Oh. Funny thing is, if both Alonso and Stroll go in P1, they'll be embarrassed there too. Yes, definitely. Raised a question regarding driver training regarding with jumping between open wheel series. Daddy Stroll's not happy with his son during this season of Aston Martin. Oh, I can't imagine he is. No, I can't imagine he is. I mean, he is a businessman at the end of the day, and Stroll, his son, has cost him lots of money in regards to damages. He's been in the car a few times, hasn't he? So Singapore was an expensive one. I mean, that car was so poorly in such, like, yeah, well, I don't even know they were able to repair it. I know we didn't race in Singapore. I think that was the excuse they made, that the car was like irreparable. But I think it was because he woke up and said he had a stiff neck or something. So Gazzy was the culprit at Qatar. Yes, he was. Yeah. So I've got track limits over to the side here so that I can keep you guys informed of who will be picking up, who will be close to any violations, any penalties, of course. So if just to remind you guys, it is free off tracks, and then you get a black and white flag, which is a warning, and then on the fourth one you get a 5-second time penalty, and then any track limits violations beyond that, I think another one is another 5-second time penalty. So basically everyone beyond that, every track limit beyond that is a penalty. And I think we're definitely, I mean, if these guys are pushing, if they're pushing in this race and the pack is close, we're going to see it could decide this race in the end. It really could. Hey Tom, good to see you, mate. No race team mode, good to see you, buddy. Anyone watching in the midnight? Is it midnight for you guys over there? Good to see you, Ravi. Who will go full send for max violations? I reckon Norris may possibly get one. George Russell, I reckon Russell will be pushing. Hamilton and Verstappen always seem to be quite good with track limits. So, but anyway, race is about to start as everyone is on their formation lap. So if you can hit the like button, guys, we have nearly 200 of you in the stream right now. Welcome, everybody. Please hit the like button. If we could get to 100, it'd be much appreciated. And then if you haven't already and you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. We do these on the regular. I'll be back next week for Mexico, I think it is. Is it Mexico next week? Is it Mexico? I think it's Mexico next week. But why is Max starting P6? Because That's where he qualified on Friday. This is the problem with sprint races. It throws everyone out of whack. So yesterday was its own thing, was its own event, the sprint qualifying and the sprint race. While he qualified on pole on Saturday, he didn't do that on Friday. He qualified 6th. So yeah, a little bit more of an interesting start today. Do you think Perez got his act together this race mentally? No, probably not. Probably not. I think he's just struggling in general with that car. And with that comes a lack of confidence. So if Marco really wants to rub it in, they could sack Perez there. Well, if that rumour is to be believed, he's going to announce his retirement in Mexico. So whether that will be the case or not, I don't know. It makes sense. It does make sense. He's 34, I think. He's just had another baby. So he's got 4 kids now. 3 or 4 kids. I think he's got quite a big family. And, I mean, where's he going to go to? Unless Williams take him, the only seat that's available next year is Williams. So I think he'd take... If he loses his seat at Red Bull, he's taking a year out regardless. And then does he want to take a step back? He's already had 2 opportunities now in race-winning teams and cars. McLaren, people forget he was at McLaren early-ish on in his career, and now Red Bull, and he hasn't been up to it, has he? So. Boldest predictions for the race. Boldest predictions for the race is that Russell and Verstappen make contact into T1. And on my bold prediction, I'm not going to go any further behind. My bold prediction is that Norris wins this race today and he gets his first race win. I've just got a sneaky feeling that extra set of hard tyres that Norris has available to him is going to benefit him. But Circuit of the Americas, we have had safety cars here in the past, so it may completely throw that 2-stop strategy out of the window. So we'll see. But only seconds away now, guys, until the Circuit of the Americas, the US Grand Prix gets underway. So Logan Sargent bringing up the rear. We have 4 cars starting from the pit lane. The 2 Haases of Magnussen and Hulkenberg and the 2 Aston Martins, both breaking part Ferme rules to make changes to the body parts of their car and alter the setup of their car. And if we end the poll, 51% of you think Verstappen is going to win this race, even from 6th place. I wouldn't put it past him. So here we are, guys. Everyone is lined up. It is lights on and... away we go as they head up the hill to the tight first corner. It seems to be that Hamilton's got a good start there, and Lando Norris, as Norris gets ahead of Leclerc down into T1. Is he able to hold the position? Yes, he is, but I think Leclerc is coming back at him as they're side by side through turn 2, and Norris stays ahead of Leclerc, and Hamilton loses a position. 2 Sainz there into the first corner. A good exit from Carlos Sainz. We'll see if there was any track limits violations, as the first corner generally has, as the Haases and the Aston Martins join at the back of the pack. But it seems Verstappen has gained a position on George Russell, who loses 3 positions, and Piastri has made up 4 positions at the start of this race. There must have been some pushing and shoving there and people running wide through turn 1. We'll see if there'll be any retrospective penalties for that. But Hamilton, bit of a better exit there, it seems, than Sainz. But let's see as they head down to T12, as Norris is already pulling out a little bit of a gap on Charles Leclerc, as Leclerc is losing a position to his teammate. They're side by side, and Sainz is ahead of Leclerc down into T12, and Leclerc's got an issue. Leclerc has an issue. Does he have a puncture? No, it is just a delay of the track map. Apologies, technological issue there. I thought Leclerc was dropping back and possibly had an issue. But I'm watching the race start now as they head up down into T1. Let's see exactly what occurred, as Norris, Leclerc, Sainz and Hamilton are your top 5, followed by, let's have a look. Lando Norris, really good there. Sainz just basically went on the inside of Hamilton there. Great move by him. And Piastri just made an absolutely brilliant start as everyone was kind of fighting each other. But as we finish this first lap, it is Norris in the McLaren leading from Leclerc in P2. Sainz 3rd, Hamilton 4th, Verstappen 5th, Piastri up into 6th, Ocon 7th, Russell 8th, Perez 9th, Gasly 10th, Zhou 11th, Tsunoda up down a position into 12th. I say that, he gains a position back on Zhou there through T1 and is back up into 11th position. Ricardo up 1 place to 13th, Albon 14th, Bottas 15th, Magnussen 16th, Sargent already overtaken by one of the Haases who started from the pit lane. Alonso is overtaken Hulkenberg as well, and very quickly them starting from the pit lane has helped them. But Piastri did have a go. Piastri actually had a run on Max Verstappen down into T12, so keep an eye out on that fight. It'll be intriguing to see how Verstappen handles this dirty air. Of course, he was in clean air yesterday, but Norris pulling out, importantly, a 2-second gap on Leclerc there. Nowhere near is Leclerc going to get DRS next time around. But it seems to be, thankfully, everyone has made it through these first couple of laps unscathed. As Hamilton closing up on Sainz there in the braking zone into T12. We will have DRS next time around. And, oh, yes, very, very close with those top 6 at the moment who look like they're going to start forming a gap to that train, which Ocon is currently holding up. Russell, if he wants to be any part of this, needs to get past Ocon pretty sharpish after he lost 3 positions at the start. Oof. Who do I think would be a perfect replacement for Perez? I don't know who'd be a perfect replacement. I'd love to see Lawson, but I think it would be Danny Rick. I think they just love him there. So, Leclerc losing time already in that last sector to Lando Norris, who has got a 2.3 second gap to the Ferrari now. Hamilton just behind Carlos Sainz, Hamilton and Verstappen in the DRS. Piastri just falling back a little bit behind Verstappen. He has lost that DRS. Russell unable to gain on Ocon there, but as they head down to turn 11 and down the back straight, DRS will be activated for the first time this race, and we'll see if there'll be any changes up front. But Norris commanding at the moment of 41.9 in clean air. Even though Leclerc is 2.3 seconds back from Lando Norris, he will still be receiving some dirty air that will be costing him as they go through the fast last sector. So George Russell was trying to make a move on Ocon, trying to do cutbacks. He's just not able to do so. So here we go. DRS will now be open as Sainz does not have DRS open to Charles Leclerc. He will be getting a tow, but will Hamilton have enough to get past that pacey Ferrari down the back straight into T12? No, he will not. And Verstappen also lost DRS there to Hamilton that time around. So a bit of a wobble from Verstappen through turns 8, 9 and 10, but lost in the DRS to the Mercedes, and Piastri closing he's 1.5 seconds behind as well. And Russell has got past Ocon, and so has Perez at the same time. So those two making quick work of Ocon there as soon as the DRS was activated, and they will be looking to get on the back of Piastri and get involved with this battle up front. Leclerc, let's see if Leclerc, how much time does he lose through the last corner? Around 2.4 seconds it is. So Hamilton, is he going to have a run again this time around? He seems pretty close to Sainz. Less than half a second as they head up to T1. Does he have enough in this short start finish straight to get ahead of Sainz there? No, not yet. Not yet. But importantly for the Mercedes of Hamilton, he is out of that DRS of Verstappen at this moment in time. If he wants to keep ahead of Verstappen, he needs to really make quick work of Carlos Sainz, and he does seem to be sticking to him. Less than half. Look at that. 2 attempts through that first sector. Hamilton seems to be really confident in this Mercedes compared to the rest of the year. So keep an eye out on him as they head through turns 11. But Perez there, fastest in the first sector. He'll be eyeing up George Russell, who does not have DRS from the McLaren in front. So expect Perez probably to make quick work of Russell. But if we look a little bit further back, Bottas down 2 positions in 15th. Everyone's kind of holding station at the moment. Ocon's struggling. Ocon does really seem to be struggling there as he's now under attack from Guan Yu Zhou. But Hamilton here breezes past for, the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz down into T12. Is he able to hold it on the brakes? Yes, he is, I believe. Sainz is very much over the back of him. And Hamilton is up into P3 and will be very quickly looking and focusing on the back of the other Ferrari of Charles Leclerc. We'll see if Verstappen closes up on Sainz and makes just as quick work of him. But Hamilton looks very feisty and quick on that medium tyre, even in the dirty air. Leclerc now 2.5 seconds back from Lando Norris. So I think if Hamilton gets on the back of Leclerc, I think it could be a pretty easy pass for him, as Perez was unable to get past Russell that time around. So, see, if you're in clean air, you are definitely... the pun is you're in pole position in the day. Because you just don't have to worry about the rears moving. So George Russell, no further investigation for leaving the track and gaining an advantage there. So no track limits violations as of yet, as well as I checked that. But yes, Hamilton 1.2 seconds behind Leclerc, nearly pulling out a second. Oh, he's actually broken the DRS of Carlos Sainz already through that first sector, as Verstappen will now have DRS on Sainz as they head down the back straight. Ocon damage, possibly. He is in 18th position at the moment. I'll see exactly what occurs, but he's definitely had a big issue there as he's dropped down like 6 positions as he was overtaken by Guan Yu Zhou. So I'm waiting for the TV coverage to catch up to see exactly what's the case, but Verstappen all over the back of Sainz here. Does he have enough to get ahead of Sainz on the brakes down into T12? No, he does not. So just watching a replay of... Oh, he does. He uses that extra grip that he has and swoops around the outside, or does the cutback on Sainz there into T12, and he is now focusing on the back of Lewis Hamilton. So Sainz actually made a very good start and got up the inside of Hamilton into T1. A few guys ran off track. Piastri just kept it tight and basically just overtook like 4 cars on the inside as they all drifted out wide. So yeah, very good from him. So let's take stock as Norris is now 3.2 seconds ahead of Leclerc, ever increasing that lead. Hamilton, DRS activated, less than half a second behind Leclerc now. Sainz now has the DRS of Verstappen. Let's see if he can maybe regain that position from the Red Bull. Piastri in P6, just not lapping as quick as his teammate at the moment. Seems to be about half a second slower than Norris. Maybe already just focusing on his tyre life, just not getting too close to the cars in front to take too much life out of those tyres. But I feel like he's too close anyway. 1.6 seconds, you're still going to receive a lot of dirty air there, guys. And the tyres are going to feel the pain. But intriguingly, Russell keeping Perez behind as well, as Hamilton's got a great exit there out of turn 11 on Charles Leclerc. He's less than 4 tenths behind him as they go down this back straight. DRS activated in the toe. Is he going to get ahead of that pacey Ferrari down into T12? He does before they even get to the corner. And Sainz is also making a move on Verstappen as they head down into T12, but is not able to make it stick just as such. But Hamilton up into P2 ahead of the 2 Ferraris, putting another car between himself and Max. And well, now Hamilton will be focusing on that clean air ahead. Let's see what he can do in clean air. Will he be able to close down that gap of the McLaren of Lando Norris, who is currently 3.3 seconds ahead? Woo! So Ocon down into P20. Down into P20. So Ocon definitely has an issue with his car, whether it's a power issue or if it is an issue with his just with damage. I think he's going to be retiring. If he does retire, this will be his 6th DNF of the season. It's just been reported. That is a lot of non-finishers for Ocon this year. Wow. Wow, guys. Right, so Hamilton, 3.2 seconds behind Lando Norris at the moment. Can he, importantly, break the toe of Leclerc? Because the Ferrari is pacey in a straight line, and it just seems to be that the Mercedes has much better rear grip out of turn 9, and just importantly breaks that 1 second barrier of Leclerc. Yeah, just Mercedes just looks really, really good there, and Verstappen also not in the DRS of the Ferrari as well. So Max, is this intentional from Max? I doubt it. I think just the dirty air is just really, really effective here. So we'll see if Hamilton can close that gap, as we've seen a few more off-track violations come through from Magnussen, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg and Ocon. But of course, Ocon is in the pit lane and most likely retiring from this race. Oh dear. That's what you get for Anthony Joshua coming over the radio and wishing you luck, because he's a new investor of the Alpine team. So yeah, he should have just stayed quiet. So am I dreaming there? Was there actually max competition here? I think there is. I think in clean air, I think in dirty air, Max is struggling a little bit. Maybe it's by design. I say struggling. I don't think struggling. Like, I think he's just on level pace with the cars around him. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he's definitely not able to pass easily with DRS. He's not able to close that gap on Leclerc. Is he dropping back far enough to be able to cool the car and cool the tyres enough so that he doesn't suffer with obviously the tyre deg? I don't know. I feel like that's not far enough back for him to kind of benefit from that. So we'll see. But Hamilton 2.9 seconds behind Norris now. Although Hamilton did get a track limits violation there as he went through turn 9. So Hamilton with a first track limits. I think we're going to see a few of those over the course of this race. Has Verstappen already won the champion? He has indeed, yes. He won it in Qatar in the sprint race, I believe. So will this be a two-stop race? Yes, Frank, it will definitely be a two-stop race, I think. Unless there's a safety car, I think it's going to be a two-stop race. There's just too much life taken out of the tyres. We've still got 49 laps left of this race. Very punishing on the tyres, this circuit. It's currently 41 degree track temperature as well. So while we have seen it hotter, it's still sufficient enough for those tyres to fall off. Since Red Bull had the new livery, which has paint on... No, that's not affecting them that much. No, I think it's more of the fact of the Red Bull has had to raise the ride height slightly to accommodate the bumpier circuit at Circuit the Americas. And yeah, the Red Bull's just not at peak performance as it is at other circuits. So yeah, I mean, there's also a development gap which is closed as well. So we're hoping that decreases as the remaining races go on. But intriguingly here, guys, let's take stock of the race. So Hamilton back out to 3.3 seconds on Lando. So Lando managing the pace here. Quite nice to Hamilton, who is pulling out a gap to Leclerc, 2.1 seconds behind. Verstappen still not able to gain on Leclerc that much. Can't say on F1 you haven't got any knowledge. Thanks, mate. Yeah, nice to see the positive comments. Right, so Verstappen, is he got DRS at the moment? Is he able to overtake Leclerc down into T12? No, still not able to gain too much. Sainz also in that DRS of Verstappen. Let's see, Russell is closed up the gap on Piastri, nearly within that DRS. Perez has fallen back just a little bit, maybe by design, to, as we said, call off those tyres. Gasly closing the gap, though, on Perez as well, who is sneakily... he's pulled away from that train of Tsunoda, Zhou. Perez is informing Russell is going off a lot. Well, Russell has no track limits violations yet, Perez, so quite evidently not. If safety car, maybe a free stop. Maybe. Verstappen on the back of Leclerc. He is indeed. So let's see. Has Max got... It just seems like Max... You can see... The reason why you can see they're suffering with the... The reason why you can see they're suffering with traction and with the dirty air is that out of the slower corners, particularly the last corner, Zhou is the first man into the pit lane, 10 laps into this race, is that the interval increases. The interval increases out of the slower corners from Verstappen and Sainz, which indicates that they're getting dirty air and they're just suffering with a bit of traction. Whereas Leclerc is obviously in cleaner air. He's not able to maintain the pace too much of Hamilton and Norris. He's only slightly off of their pace at the moment. But that indicates that he's just... Verstappen's lost... Well, he did lose the DRS, but he's now just gained it there. So let's see if Verstappen can close that gap. 0.8 of a second behind Leclerc with DRS open. Does he have enough on that pacey Ferrari, who does seem to be very quick in a straight line at the moment? No. So that's the thing. Even with no DRS, Leclerc, the Ferrari, this weekend is very quick in a straight line. A few races past, we would have seen the Red Bull breeze past the Ferrari there, even from that far back. So intriguing. All the time Max is up Leclerc's rear is doing his tyres in like Hamilton yesterday. Exactly. Whereas Hamilton at the moment, is just able to... I mean, he's maybe... I still think Hamilton might be feeling a bit of dirty air, a bit of wash from Norris in front. Apparently, they say you can still feel the dirty air from 5 to 6 seconds back in these F1 cars. So it would still be affecting him, but Lando's definitely, I mean, the man in control. As Piastri has had an issue there and dropped down to 16th place. Has Piastri had a spin? He's still going. Has Piastri had a spin? Has he had car contact there? As he is now down in 18th position. What has happened with Piastri through turn 16? Is he going to come into the pit lane? He is indeed, probably to change tyres, because that definitely would have killed his tyres. But what has occurred there? Let's see the TV coverage. I only imagine that is what he has done. He's maybe got onto the curb too much, and the rear has just gone. Of course, a lot of load put through the tyres in that particular corner and sector of the circuit. But not good for the McLaren there. He did make a very good start, and now he is at the back of the grid. Let's see. It seems to be a very slow stop for Piastri, so maybe it's a front wing change. No, Piastri has got to retire the car. No! Piastri has been informed he has to retire the car. There is a severe engine issue or gearbox issue that they have informed him of, and Piastri is out of this race. What a shame. What a shame. Yeah, the engineer came over and gave him some modes to put the car in, so that they have to, unfortunately, retire the car. That is a shame. That is a shame for him. Damn it. Damn it. Big fan of Piastri. Big fan. As in all of that, Verstappen has now got past Leclerc. Verstappen has now made it past the Ferrari of Leclerc, and now he'll be able to chase down Hamilton. So how quickly will Verstappen chase down Hamilton, as that gap has pretty much stayed consistent around the 3-second mark between Norris and Hamilton? Maybe they're just in this stage of the race where they're just managing their lap time, managing their tyres, and trying to stick to a delta to obviously ensure they can get a solid 2-stop race. But let's see if the Ferrari of Leclerc can chase down Verstappen. It does seem like Sainz is a bit better on his tyres this weekend, if the sprint race is anything to go by, than Leclerc. His medium tyres really fell off yesterday, whereas Sainz comfortably took his soft tyres to the end of that sprint race. So we'll see. We'll see. Oh, that was... Oh, I tell you what. Did Verstappen force Leclerc off of the circuit there, down into T12? I tell you what, I need to see a replay back there, but that looked... We'll see. We'll see. Martin Brundle defending Max, but to me that looked like a bit of a traditional Max move down into T12. Leclerc was definitely forced out of racing room. We'll see whether he was entitled to that room, though. That is another question. Need to see a replay or an onboard. But yeah, that's how Verstappen got past Leclerc there. But how much has that taken out of Verstappen's tyres? Will Verstappen try and do an undercut on Hamilton and get use of those hard compound tyres? He does only have one set available. So let's have a look at that replay. So how Verstappen came from quite far back, did he? Let's have a look. Verstappen came from quite far back. Oh, and I tell you what, to me, I think that's naughty. Martin Brundle is defending Max there, but to be honest, I think he's shoved him totally out of racing room. I think he's entitled to room there on the outside, and he shoved him off the circuit. So, I mean, they're not investigating it. It'd be an intriguing discussion point in the podcast after the race, but to me, I think he has to give that position back, but obviously hold your opinions, guys, until you see it after the race, as Hamilton now sets the fastest lap of the race. So is Hamilton now getting a move on as they come to this pit window? Oh, and as I say that, turn 12, incident involving Carl Verstappen and Leclerc has been noted by the stewards. So it is under investigation. I think he's come from quite far back, and I think as they get to the turning point there, I think he needs... I think that's a penalty. I think that's... Well, not a penalty, but I feel like he has to give the position back to Leclerc there. That's just me. That's just me. But yeah, it is being investigated. So we'll see if that is penalised or not. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you, buddy. Yeah, try my best to try and provide a service for you. Why did Piastri retire? It seems to be an engine issue. It's a terminal issue in the engine, and they haven't said much more else than that. And he's had to come into the pits, which is a real shame for him because he was up 4 positions from the start. So Hamilton now getting a bit of a move on, it seems, on Norris. Last time around, taking a second almost out of Norris in that last 2 laps. So Hamilton, maybe it was by design, sitting back, sticking to a delta, and now getting the move on as these medium tyres come to the end of their life. I think it's lap 19 was the pit window. So we'll see. So Magnussen already on a black and white flag as he has 3 track limit violations. Tsunoda is on 2. Alonso, Leclerc, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Hamilton and Russell with 1 apiece. So Magnussen will most likely get a penalty before this race is done and dusted. Let's be honest. So I don't know if that's a penalty for Max. Even as a Leclerc fan, that's just hard racing. I totally disagree, Spud, because hard racing should not be driving another car off the circuit. It was too much of an acute angle for Max, and he should have left car's width between him and the white line of Charles Leclerc. He didn't, and for me, I don't want to see that in racing. I don't do it in sim racing. I don't like to see it in sim racing, and to be honest, I don't like to see it here. It was an opportune moment for Max. I don't disagree with him going for the move and attempting it. However, he ran Leclerc out of racing room and forced him off the circuit. And to me, that's the new rules are that case as well. He wasn't sufficiently alongside there to warrant to force him off the circuit, to say it was necessarily his corner. That's just my opinion. We'll see what the stewards say. But it is Max, and he has gotten away with that stuff in the past. So we'll see. But in all of that discussion, Hamilton is now less than 2 seconds behind Lando Norris. A 42.5 from Hamilton last time around. That's 2 laps in a row he has set that lap time, closing the gap on Norris, who has responded with a 42.7, but that's still 2 tenths slower. Verstappen at the moment, he did do a 42.3 last time around compared to Hamilton on a 42.5, so he did close the gap slightly, but is still 4.6 seconds behind Lewis. Leclerc, 1.7 seconds behind Verstappen. Sainz, a 43.0 in 5th place. Russell is in 6th place at the moment, so we'll see. If it had been Lewis, all the Max spots would be screaming for a penalty. I just think whoever, regardless of who it is, I think that's just not a move that, if you have to force the other car off the circuit to make an overtake, then you have to give that position back. It's not a clean and fair overtake, in my opinion. I've always been an advocate for that, regardless of who the driver is. It just happens to be that Max has been more of a perpetrator of that in previous years, and this time around it's Max who has done it. So yeah, he, to me, would have to give the position back. I'm surprised the stewards still haven't. No further investigation. Why am I not surprised? There's no further investigation involving Max and Leclerc down into turn 12. Well, that will be a discussion after the race. I'll have to go back and review that in some depth. But to me, that looked like he didn't warrant holding on to that position. We'll see. I don't think Leclerc does him too. I feel like sometimes Leclerc doesn't do himself any favours. Like, he should be on the radio there shouting that he's been shoved off the circuit there, but he just doesn't. Sometimes Leclerc just gets on with it and he's a bit too I've let him get the position there. But it's like, well, no, he forced you off the circuit. Anyway, well, let's continue on with this race. So Hamilton just 2 seconds behind Lando Norris at the moment. Verstappen 4.5 seconds, not quite able to close the gap on those 2 in front. He is lapping around the same pace though. So Verstappen not able to really pull a gap out on Leclerc or Sainz. So it's an intriguing phase of this race. I say that though, Sainz has dropped back considerably from Leclerc, and Russell is closing up that gap as well as Perez. So yes, in very much a stage of this race, as someone has said, Perez is just chilling, very much so at the moment, just Russell's closing the gap, so he might as well continue with Russell and close that gap with him. Hey, Lemon, good to see you, buddy. It's still... have Red Bull got a man on the inside? I don't know. So there has been... there is a prominent steward who is on the regular roster who does actually have ties to Red Bull, which I don't agree with, as Verstappen is the first man to pit. So is he going to do the undercut on Hamilton and Norris? Let's see how much he can do, how much time he can make on the on a new set of tyres. This will be intriguing, guys. It's an intriguing stage of this race. But yes, there is... It seems to be a conflict of interest in regards to one of the stewards who has affiliation with Red Bull, or previous affiliation with them at least. And if you look at the history of incidents that and races that he's stewarded on, and like the incidents he's ruled on, he's always been very favourable to Red Bull. So yeah, I don't know who's obviously in charge of the stewarding today, as Hamilton picks up another track limits violation. He's second of the day. Russell also has 2, and Norris also picks up his first as well. So those 2, 2 more for Lewis, and he will pick up a 5-second time penalty. Norris reporting a little bit of struggle in the balance, and McLaren saying to stay off of the curb into turn 10, as there is a bit of difference in the wind direction there. But Verstappen on a brand new set of medium tyres. Importantly for him, got ahead of Ricardo, although he is behind Tsunoda. But of course, Tsunoda in the AlphaTauri, the sister team of Red Bull, will most likely not put up too much of a fuss with Verstappen fast behind him. So do Norris and Hamilton respond here to that undercut of Verstappen? I assume they will. Let's see if they come into the pit lane. They do. They do. And Hamilton stays out. Hamilton stays out for an extra lap and is going to make the most of that clean air. It's hammer time for Hamilton. Will he get undercut by Verstappen? Will this suit him as the race goes on? As Sainz is also into the pits. Russell stays out as well. Perez is into the pits. So a bit of difference in strategy here from the Mercedes team compared to that of Red Bull and McLaren. Ooh. Can other teams bring up the biased stewards as a complaint? I don't know if they have or not, to be honest. I don't know. I think there's been a big advocacy for consistent stewards, and I agree with that as well. I don't know why there aren't professional stewards, or at every race at least you'd get consistent stewarding, you'd like to think, and know who you're dealing with week in, week out. But the FAA don't like to treat it that way at the moment. So what are freaking time penalties? So basically, track limits violations. If you have 4 track limits violations, you will receive a 5-second time penalty. Any track limits violation beyond that is an additional 5-second time penalty, I believe. And then I think there becomes a point where it's like 10 seconds even. So we'll see. But important for Norris there is that he got ahead of Gasly and kept a car between himself and Verstappen. So yes, Norris on that set of hard compound tyres. So this is where I said this race could fall into McLaren's hands. That hard compound tyre, if it has sufficient pace, could be the race tyre of today. And Norris has 2 brand new sets of hards to use compared to Verstappen, who has only 1, as well as the Mercedes team as well. So I think this is probably why the Mercedes team are going long on this first stint, because they only have 1 set of medium compounds and 1 set of hards left to use, compared to Norris, who has 2 sets of hards. So Gasly now into the pits. Perez setting a fastest second sector, and Verstappen is just set a purple fastest lap there with a 40.9. Let's see how long he can keep this pace up for. I think McLaren would probably expect at this stage of the race to lose the position at some point to Verstappen while they are on the hard compound tyre and Max is on the mediums. The harder Max has to push on these mediums at this stage of the race will, of course, be a detriment to him in his last stints, because, of course... so Hamilton apparently has been instructed to target +4. So Red Bull are predicting Hamilton could be going to a 1-stop race. I did not see that being a feasible strategy today. But Mercedes possibly going for a one-stop race. This is intriguing. Maybe goal hanging as well, because if there is a safety car and they stay out, then they will maintain first position. So intriguing here, guys. When it comes to stewards, is there a team of them where they all have to agree on it, or at least the majority, or is it one steward? No, it's like the team. They have to agree conclusively on an outcome. And they have to do it pretty quickly as well, of course, while the race is ongoing. So, Norris, I say that, Norris did a fastest first sector there, and did lose a bit of time in the second sector compared to Verstappen. So, as I said, that hard compound tyre, I don't think is that much slower. Hamilton being asked if he could do another 5 laps on this tyre, and he said, I'm not sure, it's pretty tough. We'll see. So, of course, Mercedes have they have something up their sleeve in regards to this one-stop strategy, as Verstappen is closing that gap on Norris, a 40.8 last time around, another purple lap for him, and 5 tenths quicker, half a second quicker than Norris last time around on the hard compound tyre. One stop sounds risky to the end. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Maybe they think the hard tyre can go that long. Interestingly enough, is that they did run the hard tyre in the one and only practice session we had this week, guys. So Mercedes have the data. They do have the data. So just listen to George Russell's radio. George being asked, do you think there's another 5 laps in this tyre? And he went, yep. So I think they're going for a one-stop here. This is going to be intriguing. So if they're going for another 5 laps, they're thinking they could take this hard compound tyre 30 laps almost, pretty much. 32 laps, if that is the case. So, yeah, let's keep an eye on the Mercedes. They're 2 seconds a lap slower at the moment, 2.5 seconds a lap slower. Then Verstappen and Hamilton into the pit lane. So he has not been able to take that medium compound tyre 5 laps longer than he was able to or requested of. So maybe not committing to that 2-stop strategy here. Be interested to see what Hamilton goes on to. Is he going to go onto the hards, or is he going to go onto the medium compounds? Let's keep an eye on him. Seems to be a pretty quick stop from Mercedes, which is good for them as they're generally quite slow. By him staying out longer on that medium compound, he has been overtaken by Verstappen. So that undercut has worked for Verstappen there, and they've chucked him out on the hard compound tyre. So I'm intrigued to see if this is going to be a one-stop for them. 36 laps on one set of hard tyres at COTA. I'm not sure. We'll see. Russell might block Norris for the team. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll see if that'll be deployed. Hamilton reporting Verstappen now inside our pit window, and he's gone, no shit, man. I'm struggling out here. So, yeah. Russell held up Norris for all but one corner. As he is considerably slower on that old set of medium tyres compared to Hamilton. So maybe Russell is going to try and take this to a one-stop instead. Who predicted Russell would do a one-stop? I know one of you did. One of you predicted he'd do a one-stop. Oh. Albon with a track limits violation now as well. Alonso also has two track limits. So does Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Hamilton, Russell. Sargent has 1. So does Norris. So does Leclerc and Albon and Ocon with 1 apiece. So bit more track limits being taken out there, as Sainz on the medium compound tyre sets the fastest lap of the race with a 40.6. As Russell now comes into the pits as well. So is that an additional 5 laps than when they originally asked? I don't think so. But if he also goes onto the hard compound tyre, maybe this is what they are possibly foreseeing. Hey, Petrus, good to see you, buddy. Of all the cars, imagine if Leclerc does the one-stop. Yeah, imagine. He may do. He's still out there. He only has 1 hard tyre available, so we'll see. Thanks, Rio. Yeah, I mean, look, I always give my opinions here. I have obviously drivers that I prefer, as you can probably tell from obviously the shirts and stuff. I always prefer the British drivers, always support the British drivers first. There's other drivers I prefer in teams and stuff than others. But ultimately, I want an interesting race and I want to see good racing. And that's what we're all here for. Most of us anyway. And it's turning out to be one. It's very much turning out to be one. So, Verstappen, under 3 seconds now to Norris. Of course, a little bit of a tyre difference there with the hard and medium. Importantly for Norris, only 2 tenths slower than Verstappen last time around. The McLaren, even on the hard compound tyre, seems to be... Hang on. Okay, so it says they're offsetting. Mercedes are offsetting, so they're hoping that Verstappen and Norris obviously either have a fight or their tyres start to degrade. So we'll see. We'll see if Mercedes have made the right call there. I think they maybe was pinning their hopes on Hamilton and Russell being able to take those tyres to a one-stop. Could be either a Ferrari strat or it could be an absolutely brilliant strat by the Mercedes team there. We'll see. Still a long way to go in this race. 34 laps. We are not even halfway through this race just yet. So yeah, a lot can still happen. Can this hard last the whole race now? I don't think so, Jimmy. No, I think there's still one more stop to be had by. Oh, actually, do you know why I said Lewis had a quick pit stop? He didn't actually. He had a slow pit stop again. So very poor from the Mercedes team once again with their pit stops. They've really got complacent over the years. But I don't see this hard compound going to the end. It's too long. It's too long. Maybe they will. I don't know. We'll see. I'd be surprised. They only went a few laps longer than Norris, didn't they? Look, Norris has got 5-lap old hard tyres and Hamilton has 2. That's not enough of a difference there. For him to be able to take those tyres to the end. But Norris already caught up to Leclerc, and, well, Norris needs to clear Leclerc sharpish. He needs to clear Leclerc sharpish. But, once again, importantly, last time around, Norris was only 1 tenth slower than Verstappen. So, Max not able to make too much. He's closed the gap, but he hasn't got too much of a tyre advantage over Norris at the moment. So, of course, Verstappen will have a hard set of compound tyres at the end of this race, but Norris also has a brand new set as well. So, pole position for Norris at the moment, I think. But possibly his first race win in Formula 1. Leclerc dips into the pits and can take those medium tyres 23 laps. So, don't think he's got enough in it, especially with Ferrari and how their tyre deck is to take this to a one-stop. We'll see. Stranger things have happened. Norris seems well poised on both race pace and tyre factor. Yes. And if you look at it as well, Norris, once again, look, 3 tenths faster than Verstappen in the first sector. He is supreme in that first sector over Verstappen on the hard compound tyre. And, well, Verstappen's now getting into that range, getting into that window behind Norris where he is going to be receiving the dirty air. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out over the next couple of laps. You expect, obviously, Norris to be able to maintain his pace for longer than Verstappen will be able to, even though... Hang on. Okay. So there's a predictable... They reckon... So Norris was just told, do you think plan B? Verstappen has to pit again. They think possibly they might be doing a one-stop. Interesting. Black and white flag for Magnussen. Okay, so it's 4 track limits violations. I thought it was 3. But okay, so 4 track limits violations for Magnussen. So 1 more, he will receive a 5-second time penalty. Have they increased that? I swear it was 3 and then on the 4th you got a penalty. But should be an F1 commentator. Yeah, maybe. I've got some really exciting news coming up in the next couple of weeks that hopefully is going to present a lot of opportunities for myself and for the channel in a number of different avenues in real life and sim racing. So that's all I can say about it so far, until kind of everything's like signed, sealed and delivered, shall we say. I can't announce anything just yet, but yeah, excited to announce to you all what we've got. So, but that purple sector 1 by Norris is mostly because of Leclerc giving in DRS down the back straight. Not so much so, Pete. If you'd looked at Norris's lap times or sector times in the last few laps, he has been purple in that first sector compared to Verstappen. Look, last time around, a 40.9 for Norris compared to Verstappen. So let's see if how long he's going to be able to maintain that gap to Verstappen for. I think McLaren are accepting that Verstappen will probably overtake him. But if they're going to go long on this tyre, then there's a potential here, because Verstappen's got to go to the hard compounds. This is the thing. So Verstappen has got to go to the hard, and so has Norris. So as soon as Verstappen pits, Norris can pit as well, and he'll be on the same compound, and he'll have that advantage on Max. So yeah, it's an intriguing race playing out here. I think Norris is still in pole position for this win. I don't know how long Max is going to be able to maintain that pace for. We'll see. Well, that was a very slow lap time from Norris that time around. Clearly had a wobble somewhere with a 42.4, whereas Verstappen did a 41.2. So Norris definitely had an issue somewhere or a wobble, and Max will be in that DRS soon to Lando. Thanks, Zed. Thank you, buddy. Stuffy in Sergeant. I'm too old, I'm too fat, and I'm too unfit to fit in an F1 car. I'm probably too tall as well. I'm 6'3", 6'2", 6'3", right in between there. So yeah, with shoes on, I'd be too tall. He locked up. Did he lock up? Okay, so Lando locked up, which cost him a bit of time there. That's why Max has been able to close up the gap, but we'll see. Is Max going to be able to overtake that McLaren of Norris easily enough? We'll see. He's closing up in the tighter sections, but we know that the McLaren is also, like the Ferrari, pacey in a quick line as well. So let's see. All you need is the neck and you're good. 6'1" at 15. Well, my technically brother-in-law, my girlfriend's brother, he's 14 and he's 6'3". He literally had a mega growth spurt, and yeah, it was like went a couple of months without seeing him, and then all of a sudden he was like, I was looking up at him. Norris there with a track limits violation for the second time. So Hamilton is being asked to use these tyres. He can push. He can push. So 7.1 seconds to Hamilton, Verstappen and Norris at the moment. So we'll see if Hamilton's able to close that gap. We'll see how long Norris can keep Verstappen behind for, because he now is in the DRS. But we know in that dirty air, it is a little bit of a struggle under traction. So Verstappen seems to have got the better of Norris that time around. Let's see. Does he have enough to get past Norris down into T12? Is Norris going to fight this too much? We'll see. Does Verstappen have enough? No, not just yet. Obviously, they are good friends, and I don't think Verstappen is going to maybe make a move like he did on Leclerc. So, yes, let's see what else they have in store for us. So let's have a look. Let's take a little bit of a stock further down the track. I've been neglecting the rest of the grid. So Hamilton in third, Sainz is in fourth, being chased down by Perez, who's going quite nicely on the medium tyre. Leclerc in sixth, Russell in seventh, Gasly quietly going about his business. He's doing really well for the Alpine team, considering Ocon is now out and he's the sole Alpine out there. Tsunoda currently in the points as well on the hard compound tyre. Good performance from him. Alonso up 9 positions, started from the pit lane, now into P10. Great drive from him so far. Albon in P11, 2.2 seconds ahead of the train that Bottas has behind him in Lance Stroll, Sargent, Zhou, Ricardo and Hulkenberg. And then Magnussen is bringing up the rear, who pitted early onto a hard compound tyres. Seems to be involving cars number 2, Sargent and Stroll incident noted. So we'll see. Stroll got a lap time deleted for track limits. So something quite happened there. Maybe Stroll shoved Sargent off the circuit as Zhou dips into the pit lane for the second time this race. Hamilton being told, you've given me a hell of a gap to close. And they're just saying, see what you can do. As Verstappen on the back of Norris is a lot closer this time as they head down into T12. Has he made the same move on Norris as he did Charles Leclerc? They're side by side as they head into turn 13. And it seems to be they're still side by side, but Verstappen is going to come out ahead of Lando into turn 15. And he gets the move done. I am sure that was probably more respectful than it was on Charles Leclerc. And of course, a little bit of a tyre difference at this moment in time with Lando on the hard compound tyre and Verstappen on the medium. And well, let's see how much of a gap Verstappen can now pull on Norris in this crucial stage of the race. 29 laps or 28 laps remaining when they cross the line. Intrigued to see how this occurred on the TV coverage and how respectful it was. Hamilton in that kind of Norris overtaking Verstappen, Verstappen overtaking Norris, has managed to close the gap to 5.5 seconds. So he has taken 2.5 seconds out of those two in front. We'll see if he can also close the gap on Lando Norris he's been given the green light to take the life out of those tyres. So let's see. So Verstappen was quite close to Norris here with the DRS open down the back straight. My TV coverage is a little bit delayed. Let's see. So closing. He was quite far back. I'll tell you what. Oh, it's a late lunge. It was a late lunge, so much so that Lando got the cutback done, hung it round the outside, then tried to do the cutback again, and to be honest, I didn't fight it too hard. Lando didn't fight it too hard. He saw him coming. It was a lot more respectful. Verstappen was a lot more alongside Lando that time around. But yes, Verstappen holds on to the position one more time. So let's see what can Verstappen do on the rest of that medium compound tyre. He does have a hard available. Norris reporting. Did Max go off? Hard to see. Well, we'll see. We will see. I don't think so. It looked like he was within the lines. And Norris tried to do the cutback there. What lap is it, Pete? So at the top of the screen here, you can see lap 29 of 56. So we have 28 laps, 27 now as they cross the line remaining. So Norris is just, well, he's got the DRS this time around. We'll see if he's able to maintain that gap behind Verstappen as they head through the first sector where he's been very strong. Hamilton now got the gap to under 5 seconds. So he is closing. He has slightly fresher tyres than that of Norris and of Verstappen. So we'll see. The Canadian shoves the American. So yeah, good move by Max there. Much, much cleaner than it was on that of Charles Leclerc, to say the least. So Norris still within the DRS of Verstappen. If he can stay within that DRS and just, or even within the toe of Verstappen and just tag along. He is a bit slower out of the slower corners though, the McLaren, it does seem, compared to Verstappen. Hamilton now 4.5 seconds or 4.4 seconds behind that of Norris and Verstappen at the moment. Perez ever while catching signs. He's about 3 tenths quicker than the Ferrari. Leclerc seems to have fallen off a bit. I say that he's on the hard compound tyre. He stayed out a bit longer than these. He's a bit offset in regards to his pit stops at the moment. Logan Sargent holding up Danny Rick, it seems. A little bit of a train forming there. We'll see how well he handles that as he's on the hard compound tyre. A lot older tyres compared to Danny Rick, it seems. So expect Danny Rick to overtake Logan pretty quickly. Magnussen, did he pit again? Yes, he has. Magnussen's just come out of the pit lane. That's why he's so far back. Who's reporting off their lap time? Let's see. Ted Kravitz reporting that the hard compound tyre, people on the radio reporting the hard compound tyre is struggling. I don't see that in the lap time. I really don't see that in the lap time, really. Who's my favourite driver, Pete? Probably, yeah, Lewis. Like, as you can see, obviously, from the poster and stuff. I've grown up watching him. Obviously, remember watching him when he first came to F1. A bit older than... Well, I'm going to say I'm a bit older than some of you. Not all of you, some of you. I'm 32. I know I don't look it, guys. I know I don't look it. But yeah, grew up watching Lewis. Mika Hakkinen was always a very big favourite of mine. I've always been a big supporter of McLaren as well. I do like Norris, do like Russell. Piastri, very, very fond of him. Mainly because I have the luxury of saying I crashed into Piastri in sim racing when he was F3 and F2, an F3 champion. So yeah, I crashed into him. I still say it was his fault. It was still Oscar's fault, not mine. So yeah, if you could be an F driver, would I? Oh yeah, what a life, what a life. Getting paid millions of pounds to do the thing that you love. Absolutely. Youngest looking West Ham supporter. Hamilton doesn't have a set of softs. No, he has a set of mediums left to use, whereas Verstappen has a set of hards to use. So yeah, there still is a bit of an offset here in regards to this race. Verstappen has to go onto the harder compound tyre, and same as Norris. Well, Norris has a set of brand new hards to use, whereas Hamilton has a brand new set of mediums. So Verstappen and Norris both have a brand new set of hards to use at the end of this race, and Hamilton has a brand new set of mediums. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe Norris and Hamilton don't pit. Maybe they don't. I think Hamilton has been told to... Hamilton's obviously been told to hurry up, so I think they're definitely committing to a two-stop. But yeah, Norris and Verstappen are going to be basically level playing when they come out of the pit lane next time around. Although... Hang on. So they're reporting it's not going Max's way right now in regards to strategy. Hang on, just listening to Anthony Davison on Sky reporting about the strategy. So they reckon at this moment in time, yeah, as we was just discussing, Max has to go onto the hard compound tyre. Hang on. So, yes, so Max has to go onto the hard compound tyre. McLaren and Mercedes are offset compared to Verstappen. So Verstappen has to go onto the hard compound tyre, which is the slowest. He was the first driver to pit as well of Verstappen, Norris and Hamilton. Hamilton has a brand new set of medium compound tyres to use. Norris has a used set of mediums to use. So this is still all to play for come the end of this race, guys. Stay tuned. Stay tuned as Hamilton now gets that gap to Lando under 4 seconds. Oh, this is going to be a feisty end to this race. I'm a whippersnapper, Jim. So are you. 67 is young. That's young these days, Jim. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Is the car hot when braking? The brakes will be hot when braking, yes. Obviously, they're putting a lot of energy through the car under braking. The engine is predominantly, obviously, what gives them the heat. Of course, G-forces as well, stress on the body. It's 41.6 degree track temperature out there at the moment, so I don't know what the cockpit temperature will be, but it will definitely be high, to say the least, especially if the air temperature is 30.7 degrees. So I think it was like 50 degree track cockpit temperature last week, or the week before last at Qatar. So combining the fact that they've got a suit on, that they've got a fire suit on underneath that as well, and gloves, like, it was crazy the conditions they had to race in. And they basically did 50 odd qualifying laps because of the tyre situation where they could only take them 18 laps. So, yeah. So, Max is gaining a bit of a gap on Lando at the moment. So, Max is definitely pushing right now. Max is pushing to try and build that gap on Lando, who he knows has a brand new set of hards or can go onto a set of mediums, compared to Max, who has to go on, theoretically, the slower compound hard tyre. Although Hamilton and Norris have done very well on it at the moment, as Hamilton is now 3 seconds behind Lando. So Lando's starting to struggle on those hards compared to Hamilton, who has 3 laps newer tyres. So this is really where the intriguing fight is, as this field is very spread out at the moment. Lance Stroll is currently in 11th place. So the Aston Martins, fair play to them, have done very well, guys. They are currently up at, starting from the pit lane, in 10th and 11th place. So fair play to them at the moment. Probably still yet to make another pit stop, I assume. They've only done the one. So, but guys, just a little note right now, as we are 23 laps remaining of this race. We have 83 likes and over 400 of you in the stream. Big thank you to you all. If you can hit the like button and get us to over 100, it'd be much appreciated. Helps push the channel into new viewership and build this great community we have here. If you can also hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll be back next week for Mexico. Is it Mexico? I know it's a triple header. Does it go Mexico and then Brazil? Is that where we go? I think that's it. So Norris into the pits. Oh, interesting. Norris is coming into the pit lane. Oh, Max really effing and blinding over the radio about his about his brakes, saying they are so hot. As Lando interestingly comes into the pits before Max, onto a brand new set of hard compound tyres. So they are not committing to that medium tyre, and they are going to go onto the hard. I'm intrigued to see what the TV coverage says about that. As Max seems to be okay on the brakes, but maybe he's obviously feeling something that we can't evidently see. But I'm intrigued McLaren have pitted there. I'd like to know what their thinking is. Do they think they can make up enough time on Max there? Because Max pits, they're still going to... Weird. Intrigued by that one. Intrigued by that one. The radio UI has stopped working. Oh, has it? Let's refresh it and see if it works. See if it works. Lando was second. Lando was second. He was 3 seconds behind. So we're going to see if they're going to do... Yeah, so they're trying the undercut on Max is basically what they're doing. And Max is responding. Max is responding. So remember, Max has got a brand new set of hard compound tyres. So McLaren have had to force Max's hand here and Red Bull's hand by putting him on a hard compound tyre. I think he's going to come out ahead. Red Bull, a very good stop from them. And Hamilton now trying to go long on this hard compound tyre. How long can he stay out on that tyre for? And how long and when will he come out onto the medium? Of course, offset to that of Norris and Verstappen. It's still going to be a feisty end to this race, as Norris doesn't get the undercut done on Verstappen, and it's now level playing between Verstappen and Norris, who are both on a brand new set of hard compound tyres. Leclerc ahead of Verstappen at the moment, offset as well on the hard compound tyre. Not really in the fight for this win, but will he come into play and affect this result in the end? Let's see. So surely it's hammer time for Hamilton now. Surely he needs to get a move on, try and go as fast as he can on this hard compound. And with a brand new set of medium compound tyres, he could be very, very fast at the end of this race. We know the Mercedes all year has been very quick at the latter stages of a race when the fuel starts to come off of the car. And maybe we will see a la Hungary type situation again. Remember when he had to chase down and Barcelona. We'll see. But let's see how this race unfolds over the next 10 laps or so, 5 laps or so. That was such an unlogic move by McLaren. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. We'll see. Not his first podium, but his first win. Yeah. The longer Leclerc keeps Verstappen behind, the better it will help Hamilton. The better it will help him. But then the thing is that how much of a time... I mean, this is the thing. The longer Hamilton can stay out there, the better for him, within reason, because Verstappen and Norris would have taken more life out of their tyres. And the offset will be... yeah, the offset will be obviously quite substantial. Just trying to listen. Just listening. Yeah, they're reporting they're a bit strange about McLaren going to that medium, going to that hard compound tyre, not going to the mediums. I find that a bit strange as well. I find it strange that they brought him in so early, but maybe there was some logic behind it that we couldn't see. Verstappen, Norris, Sainz, or Hamilton. At this race, Perez will pit for softs. Yeah, where is Perez? He's P2 at the moment, isn't he? So he's been sneakily going around about his business, Perez. Up in P2, 7 positions gain. Of course, we know that's not relative to where he'll eventually finish, unless there's like a... Well, even with a safety car, I'd have to make a pit stop. So no, he's not done. He's been quite a quietly okay race from Perez today. George Russell yet to pit again as well, same as Hamilton. In P... I say that, Perez has come into the pits now. Leclerc staying out there and frustrating Verstappen just a little bit longer at the moment. So this will not be helping Verstappen in this dirty air and be slowing him down. Just that little bit more and helping Hamilton. How late can Hamilton cut it? He's almost 2 seconds behind the lead race lead now. Yeah, this is the thing. I don't know how long he can stay out there for. How much of a pace advantage is there with that medium compound tyre over the hards? I don't think it's enough. We'll see. We'll see. See what they're. Maybe they're thinking about a soft tyre, even. Don't know, but they don't have any brand new softs to use. They've only got used. So yeah, still, it's intriguing out there. Intriguing. Sainz versus Russell. Yeah, Sainz is very quick. Look, fastest lap last time around, but that's the thing. As soon as you get in the dirty air, I expect Sainz to get him this time around. Sainz has the newer tyres, better grip, DRS open. That Ferrari's been pretty pacey in a straight line. As Verstappen still behind Leclerc at the moment, not able to get past him. Here goes Sainz, easy pass down into turn 12. And yeah, with that extra grip out of turn 11 and with that straight line pace, straight line advantage that the Ferrari seems to have here this weekend, easily gets past Russell into T12. Perez, a 2.4 second stop as Hamilton now into the pit lane. So this will be 18 laps on this medium compound tyre for Hamilton. Let's hope for a decent pit stop for him as he's back underway. Will Verstappen get past Leclerc now into T1? He's got to try and make a move, surely. Will Leclerc fight it hard? I'm sure he will after being shoved out at T12 early on. And, whoa, has he been able to do it? And Verstappen has got ahead of Leclerc as they head down into T2. An important overtake for Verstappen there. And important for Mercedes that Hamilton was able to get ahead of Sainz into T1 there out of the pit lane. And here we go. It is hammer time for Lewis on a brand new set of medium compound tyres. 18 laps remaining. Does he have enough of an advantage on Verstappen on the hard compound tyres and Lando Norris? Catching is one thing, overtaking is another, as we know for sure. But he only has less than 6 seconds to make up. He was closing that gap on the hard compound tyre earlier. So let's see if he can do that a lot quicker on the medium. As Norris catching up to Leclerc here as they head down into T12. Leclerc catching Verstappen as well. I don't think Leclerc's going to be able to have anything to say about Verstappen, but maybe he will do about Norris. Norris, a must-make overtake for him to stay on the back of Max, and he does indeed. So a must-make overtake for Norris there. Leclerc losing 2 positions in 1 lap. And, well, Hamilton Not really gaining any favours from Leclerc there when it comes to holding up Lando Norris, but maybe that is a blessing in disguise for him because Verstappen does still have to keep an eye on Lando Norris in his rearview mirror. Where did the radio descriptions go? That just don't seem to be working. I've refreshed it. Doesn't seem to be working. But yes, let's see. Let's see what Lewis can do as Russell dives into the pits as well. 39.9 for Norris last time around compared to Verstappen with a 40.1. Perez sets the fastest lap there and takes that away from Norris there. But Hamilton, I suspect, on a brand new set of mediums, will set the fastest lap next time around on the mediums with his first full lap. It's all getting a bit feisty here at the end of the race, guys. All getting a bit feisty. One more like to 100 likes, guys. Go on. Who's going to be that 100th like? Who's going to be that 100th like? But an easy overtake there for Lando, it seems, into T12, just seeing on the TV coverage. So Hamilton, 4.4 seconds behind Charles Leclerc at the moment. Lando, can he get, importantly, into the DRS of Verstappen? That McLaren is no slouch. So, let's see. I still think we're in for a race come the end. Hamilton fastest in the first sector there at 29.8. Sorry, 26.8. Surely Leclerc's got a pit soon, isn't he? 16 laps on those hards. Feels very, very spread out, by the way. Very spread out. So let's see what Verstappen does over the line. He does a 40.0. Norris did a 40.4. So dropping 4 tenths there in that lap. Not good by him. Hamilton does a 39.898. Not quick enough, really, to catch Verstappen and Norris by the time this race ends. Norris maybe, but not Verstappen. It seems like Max at this stage of the race just seems to have enough to be able to hold off Norris and Hamilton come the end. Of course, stranger things have happened as Lance Stroll is now into the pits. Where is he going to come out? It's been a good race from the Aston Martins after they made those changes to their setup and the car, and seems to have worked for them as they were in the points. I think they'll be fighting for points by the time Stroll comes out to have to overtake Tsunoda. Danny Rick going quite well in P12. Albon in P13. Hulkenberg P14 after starting from the pit lane. Sargent in 15th. Bottas 16th. Zhou 17th. Magnussen 18th. Magnussen still just tiptoeing round because he one more and he will get a time penalty as Perez sets the fastest lap again. He's flying, Perez, on that hard compound tyre at the moment. Oh my! Well, they're saying if hang on. So they reckon on the commentary that Matt Hamilton does have the pace to be able to catch Verstappen and Norris, but he might not have the tyre. Well, Hamilton's not convinced he's going to have the tyre life at the end of the race, but Mercedes are confident he will. 39.8 last time around for Hamilton, so that's more like it. 8 tenths quicker last time around than Verstappen and Norris, nearly a second faster than Norris last time around. So that's a bit more like it from Hamilton. Much closer to Leclerc. Thank you for the subs, guys. Thank you, D. Thank you, Praj. And anyone else who has subbed in the meantime, much appreciated. 124 likes now. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So we have 15 laps remaining of the US Grand Prix. What is going to happen? Norris seems to be falling a bit behind Max in that dirty air, just not able to stay with him. Now 2 seconds behind Max, but Max doesn't seem to really have the overall pace to maybe hold off Hamilton if Hamilton is able to make quick work of Leclerc and of Norris. Verstappen, importantly, this is a telltale sign for you. Max's engineer is reporting Hamilton's lap times to him. And Max is just coming straight back at him and telling him, I know, my brakes are shit. In true Verstappen style. So they are worried. They are worried about Hamilton as he sets a 39.5. Is Hamilton able to get Leclerc as he heads up into T1? Is this going to be a move by Hamilton into T1? I think this may be. This seems to be a must move for Hamilton if he wants to catch Norris and Verstappen. He's side by side with Leclerc and he gives the space and leaves Leclerc the position as they head through turn 5 and turn 6. Ooh, how much has that taken out of Hamilton's tyres there? That was important for Hamilton to get the move done. I suspect he'll make short work of Leclerc as they head down the back straight, but that would have been handy for him to have been able to make that overtake there. Merc wasted 2 seconds on Hamilton's pit stops. Well, this is the thing, is that Mercedes for years have been terrible with their pit stops. They've always had such an advantage over the rest of the field, but they've been lackadaisical with their pit stops. And, well, yeah, when the field got tighter, I think it would have been interesting to see their pit stops in the year of 2021. How much of a difference like that would have made if they were on Red Bull's level of pit stops or like McLaren's level. They've been slow for a number of years. That's really an area they need to improve upon. But yes, Hamilton passed Leclerc. How much time has he lost there? Well, he was 2 tenths slower in the first sector compared to Verstappen and Norris, but he has regained that time down the back straight due to the DRS assistance of being behind Leclerc. So Hamilton this time around a 40.2. See, losing that time behind Leclerc there has given him the same lap time as Verstappen and Norris. That's 1 lap extra he wasn't able to gain on those two in front. But Hamilton now 3.8 seconds behind Norris. How quickly can he gain and how quickly can that gap to Verstappen close? Will he be able to make enough? Will those tyres last until the end of the race with that pace advantage? As Hamilton, as we know, the Mercedes has generally comes to life in the latter stages of a race as the fuel comes off the car and is a lot lighter than it is in the early stages. But we'll see. We'll see. Is it okay if I watch your stream whenever? Of course you can, Pete. Yeah. By all means, you're more than welcome. Everyone is more than welcome. Glad to see you. Welcome to the community we have here. Possible Verstappen versus Hamilton for old time's sake. It'd be great to see, wouldn't it? It would be great to see. Max is reporting he doesn't like his brakes. So, I mean, if Max is forced to defend from Lewis, if we get to that point, then how much does he truly have in those brakes, performance-wise, to hold off Lewis fairly as well? Oh no! Trap map, don't you go desyncing on me now. Naughty. No. Do I think Hamilton will be able to catch Verstappen? Sky, I'm listening to Sky and they seem very positive it will be able to. I don't know. I mean, he did a 40.4 last time around there. Let's see if he can. It all depends on those tyres. There's no doubt he has the ability and the pace-ish to be able to. But it depends if those tyres will last. As Max has now done a fastest first sector. What about Hamilton? What is his sector time there compared to that? Slower. So Hamilton's sector time slower there compared to. So we'll see. I've tried, Eugene. The radio feeds aren't working for some reason. I've tried reconnecting to the server and it's not doing it, so apologies. Let's assume this ends as it is now. How many points does Perez retain in leader second place? I don't know. Probably about 15, I think. There's 27 points between them at the moment. 3rd to 6th. I don't know what that gap is particularly, points difference-wise, so we'll see. Why is Leclerc down in 4th? Because he stayed out long. He is currently on hard compound tyres, probably doing a one-stop race. So, yeah, he just hasn't had the pace. Leclerc Ferrari, man. Oh, my God. What do you think about plan C or plan D? Leclerc responds and goes, Plan C is fucking up my race. Love it. Comedy gold. Comedy gold. Oh, comedy gold. Easty, thank you for the thank you for the €2, mate. Much appreciated, buddy. Much appreciated. That will come through very shortly. Ferrari hilarious, yeah. Alonso top gainer in race positions, yeah. He's doing very well at the moment. Alonso is up into P9. 10 positions gained. Lance Stroll doing pretty well as well. 9 positions gained. So very good for them. But Lewis at the moment is 2 hang on. I thought Ted Kravitz was going to give me a points difference there in regards to that. But yeah, it seems like just this time around, I think Hamilton maybe had a couple of cool-down laps on his tyres because he's now got that gap to under 6 seconds to Norris, to Verstappen. There's still 11 laps remaining, or 10 and a half laps remaining. So there's still plenty of time here for Hamilton to be able to close that gap. Just all depends on the tyre life.
ESTD1759 donated €2 through Super Chat. Tie for stream.
Ferrari being funny. Ferrari's on the board at Le Mans. Yeah, it was a completely different team, isn't it? Completely different team and pressure in that Le Mans team or endurance team compared to F1. Is Hamilton even be able to overtake Norris? Well, this is the thing. Catching is one thing, which he's not catching enough, in my opinion. And overtaking is another. We've seen, like, overtaking in the dirty air is tough. And is he going to have that much of a tyre advantage by the time he reaches Norris to overtake him? I don't know. 10 laps remaining, guys. 10 laps. Still quite a considerable amount of time left in this race. So it's definitely all to fight for those 3 up front. Max obviously complaining about his brakes as well. But it seems like Leclerc's probably going to the end of this race. You pit Leclerc now. He comes out behind Sainz. He comes out behind... Max saying, please no talking. I'm in the braking. If you pit Leclerc now, he's going to come out behind Sainz, Perez, and possibly even Russell. So you're just going to lose those positions. 137 likes. Yeah, 138 likes as you type that now. Russell's strategy is pants this race. Yeah, I feel like overall, I don't know. I get the strategy from Mercedes, like trying to try something different. Obviously, they've got a lot more data to hand than what we do, and we have a fair bit here. But they evidently saw an opportunity to try and do a one-stop if they could eke out the tyres, but the drivers, well, yeah, quite evidently they couldn't. Hang on. So Bono has reported to Lewis, you can get this, mate. You can get this. So Hamilton now 1.0 seconds behind Norris. He will most likely have DRS next time around as they go through turn 11. So keep an eye out on that. Hamilton will have an opportunity on Norris down into T12 this time around, I think. Let's see. And then with Verstappen being chased by Hamilton, which we haven't seen in 2 years, let's see how that occurs. Russell's so lonely. Yeah, he is. How long before those hards get crusty? They'll easily go towards the end of the race. Yeah, the mediums are more likely to fall off first, even with like a 4-lap difference between, or 3-lap difference between Max and Lewis. So, right. So Lewis has DRS. He's 0.76 seconds behind. DRS Open, how much does he have to be able to have an opportunity on Norris here? I still think this is a bit too far behind to be able to overtake Norris down into T12. Here we go. He's gaining, and not enough. Not enough. So he needs to be closer out of turn 11 to have an opportunity at Norris down into T12. Will he be able to stay close through this tight, twisty last sector and actually have an opportunity into T1? Oh, and it's just frozen as it seems to be Lewis is trying to make a move on Norris through the tight, turny turn 15. Is he going to make a move through turn 14, 17 and 18? No, surely not. He definitely thought about it. Damn you, track map, for getting in the way there. But Lando is just not able to hold off Hamilton. I assume that Hamilton might have a move down here into T1. Definitely going to make Lando go defensive and think about it. Maybe do the cutback, or is it going to be done before they get into T1? No. So let's see. With the better tyres, is Hamilton able to get better traction out of turn 1? It definitely seems like it's the case. And Hamilton is ahead of Lando out of turn 1 with 8 laps remaining through the first sector and is currently 5.3 seconds behind Verstappen. But how will Lando be able to come back at Hamilton down that turn 11? Let's see. But Hamilton got the job done quick enough. Has he got enough left in his tyres with 8 laps remaining to catch the Red Bull of Max? This is what we've wanted to see. This is what we've been waiting for. Can he do it, guys? We are in for a stormer of a last few laps here at the US Grand Prix. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We'll be back here again next week for the Mexico Grand Prix. But just watching that battle with Lewis and Lando just now, such great respectful racing there. Given space, both drivers. Obviously, Lando trying to defend as well as he can on the obviously the harder compound tyre, the slower tyre. And then just watching them as they run down into T1. Let's see how that overtake was actually made. Oh, Lando did brake, did defend a little bit late, and Hamilton did the cutback and swooped round the outside into turn 2 and got second place. So a little bit naughty there from Lando, but Hamilton got the move done. So keep an eye on that interval now between Max and Hamilton. Can Lewis close that gap? Of course, he's going to be receiving dirty air from Danny Ricardo in front, who will be receiving the blue flag very soon. But this is what Verstappen will be hoping for. Of course, Ricardo just is in between Hamilton and Verstappen at the moment. Hamilton with a fastest first sector there, but only by 1/10. So Hamilton had to pull out of the move into turn 1 so that he could do the cutback because of Lando's late defense. So good driving racecraft there from Hamilton, and Toto was shaking his head at the defense there. As Sainz is on the back of his teammate Charles Leclerc. Will there be team orders, or will they be allowed to race? I don't think it's going to be necessary. I think Sainz is easily going to breeze past his teammate here down into T12. Hamilton will not make it in time. I don't know. Don't think so. I'd love to see it. Yeah, I would love to see it as well, Antonio. Helmet limping between garages, turning down into defence on blue flag. Most probably. So Hamilton, Bono giving Lewis the confidence that Max is 5 seconds ahead and is managing a brake issue. So we'll see. We'll see if Hamilton can close up to Verstappen, if there will be any issues with his brakes. But Danny Rick, you know he's going to be told to stay out there. He's on the soft compound tyre and may possibly even be quicker than Hamilton at the moment because he is on a 39.3 last time around. So this is not going to help Hamilton because Ricardo is quicker. He's going to be giving off dirty air, and he's not going to be told to unlap himself over Verstappen, is he? So in effect, Hamilton has another car he has to try and overtake here in the closing stages of this race, and this could be ruining what is a potential Hamilton versus Verstappen at the end. Typical. Like, I don't know. Is that conspiracy theory time? Is there a reason for Danny Rick to be put on the medium compound tyre there? and put at the back of the grid so that he's a lap down. Sorry, and put onto a soft compound tyre other than to get in the way of a Verstappen and Hamilton fight. I'm just saying. Conspiracy theory. I'm just saying. It's... Oh no, yeah, Alonso is out of the race. Floor damage, you are reporting, and that is a shame for him because he's had a really good race today. He was in the points, but another conspiracy theory time. Stroll is now in the points because of that retirement, so I'm throwing him out left, right, and centre, guys, because it's fun to do. Okay, that's tough. Leclerc has been better than Sainz this weekend. Yeah, but Sainz has been better on his tyres than Leclerc. I mean, Leclerc's been shafted by the strategy today. He's the only guy out there on a one stop. I mean, in the car that's probably the worst on its tyres out of the whole grid. So, yeah. And he's going to lose that position to Perez as well. Also, with that incident with Max and Charles at P12, no investigation. That is, yes, I've forgotten about that already. And that is, yeah. I mean, Ricardo, like, it's just, he's on the soft compound tyre. He's quicker than... Lewis is still quicker. But he's held him up enough, and he's been in that window where he's been given off enough that but Hamilton hasn't been able to close the gap in the first sector. It's just enough, I think. It's just enough to be able to hold Hamilton off and not have a charge on Max down in these closing laps, which is a shame. It's a real shame. Thanks, Gustavo. Why is Lando suddenly so slow? He's just obviously not been able to cope well on those tyres in the last stint of this race compared to Max. Simple as that, really. I don't know if the internet can handle another Abu Dhabi 2021. Well, it's not another Abu Dhabi 2021, is it? But that was unique in itself, as Leclerc is under extreme pressure from Perez here. Extreme pressure. 5-second time penalty for Albon track. Huh? Oh, sorry. I was just about to say, it looks like he's got 4, but it's just updated. Albon's got a 5-second time penalty. He's got 5 track limits violations. Danny Rick being a defender for Max. He truly is. He truly is. Like, my conspiracy head is just going wild right now. Like, why is he out there on the softs? And why have they pitted? Like, I get he was on the hard compound tyre, and they've left him out there long. I just don't. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, because they could have kept him out there. They could have kept him out there to do a 1-stop. Or they could have brought him in earlier and committed to a 2-stop. I reckon some shenanigans definitely goes on with AlphaTauri and Red Bull. They say they're not the same team, but they quite evidently are. So, yeah, it just don't make sense. It just don't make sense. That's just my head, my conspiracy head going on right now. That's all. Because yeah, I wanted to see a fight. I wanted to see him at least go at it. Like, who doesn't? Who doesn't? Whereas now, like, the race has kind of fizzled out. So. Why has Rick come back? Well, to be fair, it's been a decent performance from him. Like, he's another one who's been a bit shafted by strategy. Let's have a look, actually. Did he do... I don't know if he has done... Okay, so yeah, Rick has only done 2 stops, and he went very long on that middle stint on the hard tyre. So, I mean... Yeah, it seems a bit odd to leave him out so long like that. Maybe there was goal hanging for a safety car. But... he's the only driver out there on a soft compound tyre now. So, they want Hamilton to have a sniff at a win. Of course not. No, of course not. Of course not. Hamilton's past him now, though. He is past him, but it's too late. Too little, too late. It's 3 laps remaining. Is Hamilton going to be able to catch up to Verstappen 3.6 seconds in the last couple of laps? I mean, Magnussen, Zhou, and Bottas are probably going to get out of the way of Max pretty quickly. Unless Max has a severe lock-up somewhere. We'll see. We'll see. He is managing a brake issue by the sounds of it. So we'll see if Hamilton's able to close up that gap. He needs to close up. I mean, it's going to require a mistake from Max, in my opinion, in this last couple of laps, or maybe Magnussen and Zhou fight in their own battle. Just hold Max up a little bit longer than they need to. But I mean, Lewis is already 3.2 seconds behind, so Danny Rick most definitely has got in the way of Hamilton catching Verstappen here at the end of this race, 100%. Because look at that, he's catching. That's less than 3 seconds now in half a lap. Like, well, 3 seconds now in half a lap, where he was like 4.4 or whatever when he was stuck in the dirty air of Danny Rick. So. What's the rule for the blue flag regarding the gap? I think it's 4 or 5 corners when they get the blue flag, but they have to let the car by. I think that's how many corners, something like that. There's a set amount of corners, but they have to pull over and let the lead car or whatever go through. Max now dirty air for Max. Yeah, Danny Rick now doing 141.5 last time around compared to Lewis on a 39.8. So it just shows, as you said, 2.8 seconds now. It just, you know, like he was kept behind Danny Rick for what? 6 laps? 5? Like, yeah, Danny Rick was on the soft tyre for 5 laps, like 5 laps before he got past him. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just saying. My conspiracy head is going wild right now. But Lewis is a man on a mission, but it's going to be too little too late, I think. It's going to be too little too late. But Magnussen's going to let Verstappen go by, and he's going to hold up Lewis. No, he's going to let Lewis go by as well. So well done to Lewis. Well done to Magnussen there, getting out of the way and letting them fight. So Max is struggling. Max is struggling at this stage of the race. It's just such a shame, man. It's just such a shame. But here we go. We're going through the last sector, and we'll have 1 lap remaining. Lewis on fire, charging down Max, but I don't think he's not going to have enough. He's 2 seconds behind, and well, unless Max has a big lockup somewhere, I mean, can Lewis catch him? Is he going to have enough grip here to be able to have DRS down the back straight to have an opportunity? Come on, Lewis. All but 1 opportunity here. Is Max receiving dirty air from Zhou? Is that enough to really affect him? I don't know. Maybe 1 more lap, we might have had an opportunity of Lewis having a go on Max. But I think, unless he finds like a second here in this first sector, he's not going to be able to get ahead. Not going to be able to get DRS. Here we go. He's being held up by Zhou. He is being held up a little bit by Zhou. But I think doesn't he get DRS? Does he get DRS from Zhou as they head down the back straight because of a lap car? Driver of the day, Ricardo. Yeah, I know. So, yeah, Verstappen gets DRS as well, man, on the lap car, whereas Matt Hamilton doesn't. And barring a blowout of Max's brakes giving way, Verstappen is going to win yet another race this year while starting from 6th place. And a real shame that obviously Danny Rick got in the way there. But here we go. Max coming round, turn 14, 17, 18. Only a couple of corners left, and he will be the US Grand Prix winner. Hamilton will be in P2, chasing him down at the end there. And Max crosses the line from a charging Hamilton in P1 and P2. Lando Norris comes round the last corner and takes P3 to round off your podium position. Sainz beats Perez and his teammate Leclerc, who is also under threat from George Russell in the last corner here. Can he hold him off? The only man to be on a 1-stop. And he has brought it home in P6. The man who started first. Russell in 7th. Gasly holding off a charging Lance Stroll of all people at the end of this race. Wow, where did that come from? Stroll starting from the pit lane. And I don't think he's going to have enough. I think Gasly's going to be able to hold on to this position here. And Stroll is going to finish in the points. And there is a yellow flag. I think someone drove off the circuit there at the end, as they do, to pick up the marbles. And Tsunoda is going to finish in the points and set the fastest lap to boot, as well, as he's on a brand new set of fresh tyres. And because he's going to be in the points, he is going to take an extra point for fastest lap of the race if he does so, which I think he's going to do. Go on, Tsunoda. Go on. Just do it for the bants. 38-1. Tsunoda gets 2 points this race from a fastest lap and starting in P10. Albon comes across the line in 11th. Sargent in P12. A much better performance for Logan Sargent, guys. Hulkenberg in 13th. Bottas 14th. Zhou 15th. Magnussen 16th. Danny Rick 17th. And Alonso, Piastri and Ocon retired. And there we go. To sum it up, guys, we were robbed of a finish between Max and Hamilton because of Danny Rick coming out on the soft tyre and not intentionally blocking, but being used, and I'm going to say it, I don't care, being used as a blocker for Lewis. Because that was enough. There was enough of a difference there for 5 laps to hold Lewis back in the dirty air so that he wasn't able to gain on Max. And yeah, that's that, really. That's that. That is that. But anywho, much better positive. Good positives from Mercedes and McLaren. I think I would like to hear McLaren's reasonings for bringing Lando in when they did. Did they truly think they was going to be able to do the undercut on Verstappen? I don't know. I still don't see the logic of Lando's second pit stop. I think they've dropped the ball there, and I think they've thrown away a potential first win for Norris. I think they truly did. It worked for Hamilton. Of course, if Danny Rick wasn't there, I think he probably could have got that win. We at least would have seen Max and Lewis go side by side or fighting for it. But I think McLaren dropped the ball there. I think they did. I think they dropped the ball. So hate Danny Rick. Danny Rick's doing the job. He's been told to come in and pit when he has, but still find it odd. Just find it odd. Find it odd, guys. But yeah, who is your driver of the day, guys? Let me know who your driver of the day is. Do you think it was Verstappen finishing first from P6? Do you think it was Lewis who finished second and nearly gave us a first win in 2 years for him? Or do you think it was Perez gaining 4 positions, or Lance Stroll, of all people, gaining 11 places in after starting from the pit lane? Let me know in the chat right now. I would fire that person that made Lando pit for the last unlogical time. Yeah, I'm intrigued to hear what their thoughts, what the interview is afterwards. If I was Lando, I'd be quite pissed off. I think he did absolutely what he needed to do today, and then they pitted him onto the hard. I don't get that decision. I don't get it. Don't get it. So, driver of the day, voted by the fans, is Lando Norris, intriguingly enough. So, a bit surprised about that one, to be honest. I think he had a good day, but I don't know. If it's Verstappen, then you have to include his helper share. Honestly, I think Yuki did well today. Yuki did phenomenal today. Yuki did really well. It says only up 1 position, but finishing P10, of course. A lot of eyes and pressure still on Yuki with Danny Rick coming back, and a lot of talk about obviously that seat in Red Bull being open. So yeah, he still needs to put in those performances, and he clearly outperformed Danny Rick today. Although Danny Rick shafted by strategy, like they left him out there very long in his second stint, compared to Yuki, who was obviously on the medium. He did 17 on a Haas. Then actually, how many laps did Yuki do? Yeah, so Yuki did the same. Oh, Yuki did 3 stops. So if you look at that, Yuki started on the mediums, did 17. They made Danny Rick go long, and then they made Tsunoda's middle stint 7 laps, 8 laps less than Danny Rick. So, which just makes me think, like, I don't see the logic behind that unless they're trying to think about a goal hang. Helmut Marko's got on the phone and gone, can you keep Danny Rick out there and then bring him in for softs so that he can stay ahead of Lewis? and just hold him up for a few laps, because that'll be the difference. No, thank you guys, much appreciated. Thank you for everyone who tuned in. I think we peaked at around 500 or just below that. 144 likes at the moment. If you can hit the like button on your way out, it'd be much appreciated. But yes, no, big thank you to everyone who has tuned in as always. We'll be back next week for the Mexico Grand Prix. I am going to be on the Missed Apex F1 podcast this evening as well, on stream. You can watch that live via YouTube or listen to that in the week on Spotify, Acast, what's the iPlayer and stuff. So yeah, loads of podcasting platforms. So Mert pit stop to blame also. Yes, no, I agree. Well, because the thing is that they were what, overall 3 seconds slower. Let's say 3 seconds, and I think that's being generous. They were 3 seconds slower overall in their pit stops across the race. What did Lewis finish behind? 2.2 seconds. So their pit stops, if they match Red Bull, they, like, Hamilton has the potential of a win there. So yeah, Stuffy, you overanalyze. It's a conspiracy. I love a conspiracy. Why not? But yeah, no, it was a good race. It was a good race there. At least we had something to talk about, and there was intrigue behind it. That's what I want. Look, Max won fair and square. Still feel like we was unfortunate to not have. Let's say it wasn't a conspiracy. We're unfortunate that obviously the race played out at the end there as it did, because I think we were. I think we was in for a stormer of the last few laps there with Lewis versus Max. So yeah, bit of a shame, but importantly, the other teams are getting closer to Red Bull. We still have 5 races remaining, and we'll see if that gap continues to close. And hopefully, we're in good stead heading into 2024. So yeah, really appreciate it, guys. See you all. Yeah, see you all in Mexico. And let's either. What is the time? 21:47. So I'm actually going to leave it there. I'm going to go recuperate. I'm going to be live in about just over an hour's time for the Missed Apex podcast. So I need to go do my research and analysis and see exactly were the reasons for McLaren pitting when they did, with obviously the Danny Ricardo situation and just some other goings on that happened throughout the race. So, as a DR fan, I'm furious over the pit stop strategy that guaranteed you'd end up last. Horrible way to treat your driver. That's what I don't understand. And that's why it's making me dubious. I just don't understand. Other than them goal hanging for a safety car, which just didn't look like it was going to come, I don't know why they left him out there so long. I don't know. Just seems odd to me, even if you're trying to get your drivers in the points, which Tsunoda did today. Danny wasn't slow by any means, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I was Danny Rick, I'd be a bit pissed as well and a bit miffed that, like, why have you made me stay out so long and then you've pitted me and I'm last? Like, what the hell? Like, that's a balls up and a half, isn't it, really? So. But yeah, anyway, have a lovely rest of your evening, guys. Thank you for dropping by. Remember to hit the like button. We'll be back next week for the Mexico Grand Prix. And next week, it is just a normal race weekend, thankfully. No sprint race next weekend. So we have the practice sessions on the Friday, the race on the qualifying on Saturday, and then the race on Sunday, which I'll be here for. Practices on the Friday, probably I may be at, because they're evening time. But yeah, Hux, thank you for the sub. And anyone else who has subbed in the meantime over this past hour or so. Quack as well. Thank you, guys. Yeah, and I will see you guys next week. Tune into the Missed Apex podcast. Listen to it on Spotify or live on YouTube in a couple of hours' time. And yeah, I'll see you then. Bye, guys. Cheers.